the offense, right? That's what you wanted to see, the throw game. One of the big takeaways that many out there have had, T. Hink said, honestly, I was surprised with the passing game. And I thought it was pretty good too, considering that, Chris, they did not have a starting quarterback in this open spring practice. They really opened it up. They threw the football well. We saw Reese Vander-Zee go make plays. We saw KJ Parker get involved. You mentioned Dayton Howard earlier, and the list goes on and on. They wanted to throw the football, and I thought opened it up and did some positive things, throwing the football with, again, backup quarterback. So that is encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, it's a certain glimpse that we were able to get. I think we don't want to see our QB1 out and not playing in front of us, but I think there is a benefit to that, and we get to, like I said, we get to see the other guys, and they were throwing the ball well. I'm blanking out who said it again a couple weeks ago, but they said it's probably going to be similar to what the offense looked like last year, kind of run heavy. Seemed like they were passing a lot. They wanted to show what the QBs could do with their arms, the schemes, but kind of just put those receivers out there and say we're happy with our receiving core, and this is the talent we have, and we're deep, and they are very deep. Like I said before, I'm very high on Reese Vander-Zee this year. Jacob Gill, don't forget about him. He's there too. I'm unsure if he was there or not. You guys could tell me if he was or not. Seth Anderson, obviously, Dane Howard, Caden Weegan, Sam Phillips. Those are 6 receivers. Not to mention KJ Parker too. 6 or 7 guys that you can feel comfortable putting out there. That's not even to mention Zach Orworth, Addison Ostrango, those huge targets that are out there playing pass catch. Man, like this, even though we'll probably be run first, this passing game, especially with Mark Gronowski and the way Jackson Strand's coming along, and I'm sure Hank Brown will do the same, you got to feel good about what we could do in the air this year. Probably give you a little more confidence of what we could do in the passing game more than we've had in some time. It's been a couple of years since we've had a really great passing game. So the spring practice was great to see in the terms of the passing game, because it gives you a little more confidence knowing if the run's not going, we can go with the pass game and we'll be just fine. We should see not as many punts because we're going to be able to pass more this year. And I know at Iowa, punting is winning. I was at Pullman Diner yesterday with my friends, and we were eating, and some guy walked through with a shirt. He was, punting is winning. And you almost forget about that. But, in Iowa, it is winning. We can win. Now we can win with the punt, or we can win with the pass. I truly believe that, man.
Yeah, I'd like to start winning with the throw game a little bit as well. Hey, punting is indeed winning. Special teams is indeed winning, which just briefly, the special teams, we didn't see a ton of it yesterday, but I did early before they got into the 7-on-7 and the good-on-good. Reese Dakin had a couple of good-looking corner kicks. I think the accuracy of Dakin, that was kind of the one gripe maybe that Hawkeye fans had, was that, look, he can boom it. You got another great Aussie punter in Reese Dakin, but if he can pin opponents deep with a little bit greater accuracy in 2025, that would delight Iowa fans. And I thought that he appeared to show signs that maybe he's improved in that regard, which a good special teams unit gets better for Iowa, because you love what you have with Drew Stevens, and you just added a long snapper from Boston College out of the portal, so that's experience there. And I think Dakin he's more than solid. He's very good at the punter position. So yes, punting is winning, but I would like to win with the throw game, Chris.
Yeah, let's hope we start winning some where we can get 250, 300 passing yards and see a W on our side. That's going to be exciting for Hawkeye fans. But as special teams, you got to still feel good with the way our special teams has gained a reputation of being pretty elite the past couple of years. Excuse me. Not to mention, besides the kicking, Caden Weegan coming back. He's the returner of the year. So now when we're receiving the ball, you feel very confident. But the kicking too, Drew Stevens was highly praised last week. He showed some, he showed some promise last year. I'm sure he's doing good this year. And the Boston College guy, Brian Worrell, it's hard to take after a guy who's been pretty successful like Luke Elkin, bear down, by the way. I'm glad we got him and Torrey Taylor now reunited on the Bears. So that's good for me to see. But it's hard to come in and replace a guy who's been pretty successful at Iowa, and people probably don't even notice that because long snapper is not the most sought out position, but he was very good for us the past couple of years, which is why he just went pro. So, for him to come in and try to replace that, and it being an experienced guy too, is really going to help out Reese Dakin, fellow Aussie, be just as successful last year as he was, or just successful this year as he was last year. Excuse me. There's a lot to look forward to. I believe we'll be better on special teams this year. And like you said, if you could just Reese Dakin doesn't have to be Torrey Taylor. Torrey Taylor is kind of a once in a he's a rare type of punter. He's one of the best punters in college football history. So he doesn't have to be Torrey Taylor. He just needs to be Reese Dakin, be consistent, just continue to get the offense start within the 20, the 15, the 10. If you could do that a little more consistently, then the defense will be set up for more success this year.
But okay, is Iowa football starting to figure out the passing game? Here was Tim Lester last week in the build-up to the open spring practice talking about, hey, the throw game's starting to come along for the Hawkeyes.
It's growing. I think the biggest difference is, one, we're healthy. All our receivers healthy. When I got here, I was very impressed with the wideout room. They were just young, But when you know what you're doing, you run. You run. We are running right now, which is fun to watch. To watch Seth Anderson run and Weege run, like they're not thinking about what to do. They're thinking about how to run the route. And so there was a lot of thinking going on last year. There's not a lot of thinking going on. It's really just trying to press the issue, especially when you're trying to stretch the field vertically. The ability to run a route and not look back at 5 yards and don't look back for 20, And Seth's done a really good job of that. Dayton's doing a good job of that. So it's been fun just because we're a faster team right now in the passing game because they're running faster. The plays haven't changed. They just have run them, enough times finally. So I think that's really helped us, with the quarterbacks because they're getting themselves more open. Obviously, the quarterbacks, the more open the receiver are, it's been really helpful to them to have the tight ends know what they're doing, the wideouts know what they're doing, and they're starting to learn coverage, which is a big part of this offense. I don't know how much it was before when we started teaching them coverage and why we motion and what information we pick up from the motions. They looked at me kind of funny when I first got here. Now they're starting to answer questions. I asked Dayton a question the other day in a unit meeting. He led off his answer with, well, I know it's man coverage because of the motion. And I stopped and clapped. And I was like, that was a great start to this answer. The coverage now, so now you're going to run the route. And so they're starting to see things. So I think they're more comfortable with the system. And I'm excited with where they're at. We have a long way to go. But they're just more confident. And we're able to make nuances, adjustments really quick. And they can go out there and the next route, it's fixed. And so we're still a little short on routes sometimes because we get excited. And we get a lot of third down, red zone situations where there's a lot of little nuances that we got to get better at. But I've been very happy with their progression as we expected that to happen. And it's obviously shown with some more success.
That, of course, Iowa offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, Tim Lester. Not a lot of thinking going on anymore, Chris. Just we're out there running. And I think we saw a little bit of that on Saturday, but that's what it should be, right? This thing, even though we saw backup quarterbacks out there pulling the strings over the weekend, these wide receivers, the tight ends, just the offense in general, you would hope, right? Hey, it's year 2. They've got a better idea of what's going on.
Yeah. I think in any sport, continuity is such a big part. And to be well respected is another part of that too. Now, we brought in Tim Lester. We saw the offense, even though the passing game was not strong, the offense took a leap last year. I'm sure a part of that was because we had a great O-line with, the best running back in, Iowa history. But it was a step up. And that's what it is. It was a building block. Now can we build off of that? Can we take another lead? And now it's very, very satisfying to see how good the passing game looked yesterday with those backup QBs. You could only imagine what that's going to look like when Mark Gronowski gets there. And mind you, if I can find my notes where it was I had it last show, but Mark Gronowski, man, he's throwing for like 2,000 yards. I mean, he's gotten he could throw that ball, man. He'll be one of the, he has the best arm for a QB, I think, in some years for Iowa quarterback. So, you could only imagine how good that's going to look with how deep our receiving room is, and to have everyone come in healthy is a very big thing in sports. Just because you're on the field does not mean you're healthy. I think that's a very, very forgotten thing, or just underrated thing that people don't remember. So to hear him say that everybody is healthy right now is a big stepping stone to where they're trying to get and all their developments. And I think, Josh, that's going to be key to keep improving the offense, keep the chemistry going. And now when the QB gets back and the whole offense is healthy, then they can mesh. And when the season comes, they can be successful.
I would invite folks out there, if you didn't get to watch the Iowa Open spring practice, check out Elliot Clough's work over right here on YouTube. Just search Iowa Open spring practice, Hawkeye Beacon, and he's got it front to back. You might have to squint to see some of those numbers. But if you want to go watch back the Iowa Open spring practice, you can get a pretty good look. Hawk Central as well. Love, obviously, my friends with USA Today Sports. Got to plug those guys. Check out what Tyler Tatchman and Chad Leistico are doing. They've got it broken down by quarterbacks. So if you want to go look at, hey, here's Jackson Stratton's snaps, and here's Hank Brown's, and here's Jimmy Sullivan's, you can do that way if you just look at Hawk Central on YouTube. So that's a good way to go see kind of what the Iowa Open spring practice looked like with your own eyes out there.